that being said, not worth it, because against a team that's already likely to fall behind early game, allowing Ziggs into their hands means they have a chance to hold on for a lot longer.
All right, well, we're not seeing that Thresh band come to life here, but we are seeing Zilean, Elise, and LeBlanc take away from Seven Wars, and Millennium rounding out their bands with Orianna and Kassadin.
Kassadin is forever banned. LeBlanc, fully understand that. That destroyed them last year. That, aside from the bot lane, was the biggest factor in their loss. Now, banning out Orianna, I feel like it's mostly just they don't. It's one of the comfort picks there, but at the same time, I don't feel like there's a particular compositional need for them to do that. This way, they are securing themselves, though, probably the last remaining truly top-tier mid laner in full ranks.
All right, well, let's see what Seven Wars responds with here. I wonder if they're going to go for that Tristana Fiddlesticks lane again that they used in the last game and used in the very first game and their set versus Lion Gaming yesterday in the quarterfinals, which worked out for them very well. And I remember, I think he had like 3 kills within the first 10 minutes about that with that static shiv, and he only got stronger from that. But right now we're seeing Vi hovered over and actually locked in.
Part of yesterday's advantage from that bot lane was kind of like based off of one big play, so you can't necessarily judge from it. But yeah, not surprised to see Vi picked out here. It's a very, very strong jungler. Elise is banned out, and I think they may be just gonna try and deal with the fact that there's going to be another, I don't think he's going to pick Teemo. There's probably going to be another Lee Sin jungle, because that way they can kind of at least try and play a plan around it, pick the laners that are relatively capable of dealing with his ganks. And Yasuo, although he's not a particularly safe laner, is relatively good at dealing with Lee Sin because he can block the Q.
Well, one thing also about Millennium is the fact that Araneae was the first one to really bring Vi around in Europe as a jungler. He was always, talking about how good she is as a jungle, how she should be used more, and we saw that come to life, back in Worlds, and he really, well, even before that, he was such a big promoter for her. And if anyone knows how to counter, it's going to be him. But right now, we see Annie and Lucian locked in, so we're going to see the same bottom lane out of Millennium.
Not surprising. This way, they're safe, because it worked last time for them, or that might be the mindset, if Fiddlesticks Tristana comes out. But it's also just a very, very strong lane in general, and indeed it feels like Seven Wars, I kind of agree with that. I feel like it was working for them last time.
It's so, yeah, the thing is they had the CS lead at the beginning, but it's not like they ever had the opportunity to pick up kills, and it's not like the junglers interacted a lot with the lanes. I mean, they were down, I think, at most once each, and yet no kills resulted from it.
I mean, I was surprised at how little map pressure there was placed on that lane. He's locked it. It's the Pantheon comp. That is Jungle Pantheon.
And I guarantee Saint right now is happy to hear that, because Araneae apparently told him that I will play Pantheon at least once today. And we're seeing it right now. So we're going to have the Jungle Pantheon. We saw him use it in EULCS, not to its fullest ability. But I want to see how he works with it here, because he's connected to the top lane. He has a lot of lanes that he can gank with guaranteed CC. And not to mention, that ultimate level 6 is dangerous.
That's the thing. That's why Pantheon is coming in now, especially in the jungle role. He's not he's an okay ganker pre-6. He's an okay ganker post-6, assuming no ult. But the thing is, he doesn't have to be doing anything at all post-6. He could disconnect, and all the lanes have to play passive, have to play defensive. You can't play aggressive ganks. Vi, level 6 is her go time, but she's not going to want to dive anyone ever if Pantheon could be, even in the half of the jungle that's relevant. That would mean instant counter gang, jump in, ruin the day.
Ruin the day. We do see the Seven Wars though. They round out their picks with the Morgana here. Curious what your thoughts are on that, because I remember the first ever event I actually watched, if I'm not mistaken, was like Intel Extreme Masters Kiev back in like 2012 or 11. And I remember seeing Curse actually use it. There's Nijaki playing Morgana against Reginald and Gragas, and Pop was playing Kog'Maw. And the thing is, the black shields he used were so damn spot on because Reginald tried time and time again to get Cop out of position. Since he's Kog'Maw, you all you have is a flash to escape. I wonder how well Seven Wars can use it here.
You do get individual Morgana players that are just beyond belief in terms of playing that. I mean, I remember actually, like, my Morgana stories. Like, I remember seeing way back when, I think it was around Season 2 Worlds, Froggen repeatedly using Black Shield to block Skarner ult. So, he would react to the animation, which is like 0.1 of a second or something, and he would block every single time. And that was something that blew my mind in terms of like how amazing players can be in this game. But against Gragas nowadays, Morgana's lane pressure is not going to be great.
Well, we have to actually rethink our plans because it's going to be Gragas jungle. It's going to be Kerp on Pantheon middle.
Oh, ho, ho, ho.
So apparently Araneae is not going to show us that Pantheon jungle, but Kerp is going to be playing him. And we're going to see Jungle Gragas finally here today in Tokyo Sao Paulo.
Okay, well, that is fairly logical. I mean, Morgana is going to suffer against Pantheon early on. Won't be able to kill her, but he'll be able to zone her out of being in auto-attack range for farm, use the spears, get aggressive, do a lot of jumping on her. We might see a super early gank from Araneae just to try and take advantage of the pre-level 4, which is when Morgana will most likely pick up the Black Shield. But I wouldn't expect it. It's going to be just a lane where Morgana doesn't get as much farm as she'd like. The thing is, though, Gragas jungle is not going to be able to apply nearly as much pressure early on as a Pantheon could, especially on the bot lane, which is where I feel they will want to put it.
Well, right now, we do have to point out at least one thing in terms of what these teams are doing. The items for Kimi. So last game, he apparently did the same thing. Went for double wards and a blue pot here. So looking for a lot of early aggression, a lot of early pushing power. In the meantime, both teams are just kind of counter-jungling each other in the exact same positions.
Yeah, it's a very self-sacrificial build going for the blue pot because Kimi is going to take forever to get a decent amount of gold. But Fiddlesticks is a champion that work on. He doesn't need any items to do decent damage, and he doesn't even, as long as he's able to keep buying a couple of wards, he's going to be okay in terms of his influence for helping out his team. Now, the red swap that's looking like it might happen, I don't think that's going to be too important, unless someone actually face checks, but I'd be surprised.
Well, both of them eventually getting around to the exact same position right there, meeting back in middle. And both teams still sticking together. No wards actually placed down for either team in the jungles, which is a little bit odd. But there is the first one right there. Going to be, actually, I believe, spotting out Krow, if I'm not mistaken. But they know it's there now. And it looks like we will have Araneae start over at his red buff here. Looks like he actually wants to meet Krow on the top side for that early game.
And who's going to have more influence in the early gank? This is actually what happened last time we had them meeting in the top lane for the early gank. And it mostly comes down to who can get the burst damage on the first person to take them low enough to force them out of the fight. But that's something Vi is going to do generally better than Gragas. She can get in and do that little bit of extra damage a little bit quicker. That in turn means that I feel like Kevin is going to have to play a little bit more passively around the point where that top lane fight happens, which might just give us a little bit of an edge in terms of CS early on.
Let's see how that develops, because right now Kevin and Zantins aren't really going head-to-head against each other, not really fighting out too much. But the mid lane, I think that's also a big thing that we need to watch out for. Kerp, both that Crystalline Flask and those health pots. And I want to see how well he can harass Brewster, because Brewster went for that Doran's Ring and went into that utility tree, so he's not going to have much health to regen off of. Maybe he's just hoping on his abilities to really keep him healthy from the spell ban.
Yeah, that's fairly standard practice nowadays. You want the all-in potential. But I feel like Morgana in this situation is just going to get harassed down, and I'd actually have preferred Doran's Shield start from her. It would give Kerp less damage over time, and it's not like Morgana is like the super mana-hungry character.
All right, now Araneae actually going to meet Krow in the jungle there, going for still some counter-jumping right now. Looks like he might even head up towards the top side very soon, but both junglers in the same spot. Araneae could just be warding up here, it looks like. Actually going to get caught out by Krow, going to get slowed up. Does obviously have that body slam. He's able to get away from that, but it's going to be slow game so far. And that blue pot, I mean, we should talk about that a little bit, used by Kimi. We mentioned it earlier on, but the investment that he used with it so far just really hasn't netted them anything yet. Yeah,
he's popped it very early on, and he tried to push out with Dark Wind, but it just hasn't achieved anything, actually. They're being pushed back themselves. Araneae wants this.
He does. Actually gets the flash body slam on his Zantins. He does get the knockout right back onto him, though, and does turn around. In the meantime, Kerp able to pick up a kill on a Brewster. I'm not sure what exactly happened there, but Kerp is still very damn healthy, so it didn't look like it was that bad of a thing. Maybe he actually got the turn aggro on Brewster a couple of times, but Millennium coming out with that first blood.
If Pantheon can get on Morgana, and she's actually sitting in the minions, Morgana has very little answer to it. She'll fire a Dark Binding, she'll hit a minion.
Oh no. The ward that was top lane just now has disappeared. Araneae is not going to be spotted coming in here. This could be very dangerous. He doesn't have flash, obviously, to catch Zantins, but neither does he to escape. This could be very, very bad. As you see Krow coming in from the top side as well, looking to turn this one around. Zantins very low on life. He's having flash in with the ignite. They pick up the kill. Now Krow, he actually flashes after Kevin, but that looks like it might be a mistake. It's a slow. It's just too much for him. Kevin gets the double kill and keeps himself alive with that Q.
Gets the double kill and gets the double buff, and the minions get forced in. Unlike last game now, it's be able to completely shut down Yasuo. The lane for the next 5 minutes, 6 minutes alone was probably just going to be a steadily increasing CS difference between the two of them, and that will translate to a long time before Yasuo even picks up a ship.
And the thing is, that fight, Krow, I mean, he overcommit. I mean, he flashed in to try to get the kill on Kevin. But the stakes of him losing that trade is his double buffs. To me, that's just not really worth it in the end, and unfortunately for him, he did die. Kevin was able to survive, able to take the double buffs away. It forces Zantins to be even more in trouble in that top lane, and that makes it so probably Araneae can just start ganking bottom, ganking middle, and really applying pressure, because Millennium is winning every single lane right now.
Krow in that engage actually cancelled one of his auto attack animations. If he had landed that, he might have been able to bring down Renekton, but it was, as you say, a very risky play. That being said, when you're falling behind like this, there's an argument to be made. You want to play super offensively on the grounds that it's go big or go home.
Well, Kerp, look what he's picked up. 3 long swords because one just wasn't enough. And also has a nice CS lead over Brewster here in the mid lane. He's actually heading up towards the top lane. He is level 6. He could go for the jump here. Zantins doesn't have a flash to escape. He's actually going to be going to the Traverse to ward up. He does go for the ward. And it looks like Kerp a little bit of notice here. Might be able to return back to middle lane here. But this is something you have to talk to us about, because this is the danger of a Pantheon being middle and being 6.
Yeah, he can roam, but unlike the jungle Pantheon, he's not pressuring the map all the time. He's pressuring the map the moment he's out of sight, but that's not that fun. You can at least somewhat control his movement by shutting up the lane with Morgana. The problem is, though, at the moment, he's a lot more dominant than Morgana in the lane, which means he can shove out, and then he can look for opportunities to roam. And the mid lane Pantheon does have the advantage, obviously, of getting more farm, more levels, and more damage.
The thing is, when he gets that blue buff, I mean, Brewster can't spam spells enough to push the wave back, where Kerp can do that pretty much himself. And the damage, I mean, the spamming of the Q onto Brewster is going to be so devastating. And you see, every time he leaves the lane, everyone has to play passive. You were mentioned earlier, you know, if all we do is go for that, looks like he's going to be going bottom in here. If he does land it, coming in for Creaton, and the fear, or the sides would bounce between all three enough.
Yeah, game now it's starting to snowball significantly out of control. But I did want to just mention that part of the reason Pantheon's doing so well in this lane, normally he suffers from serious mana problems, but Kerp actually pulling out the Flask start again, which I don't think I've seen anyone else do recently, actually works really, really well on Pantheon, because his base mana regen and base mana pool are terrible, but even a small amount of mana from the Flask actually adds up to quite a lot.
CS starting to close up between both these two teams. It's pretty close between across the board, but right now, with those 4 kills advantage with that 2,000 gold lead that they've been able to achieve so far is really becoming a problem. And I was trying to mention earlier on, you know, Kerp, when he leaves mid lane, every lane has to start backing away. You said, you know, you can disconnect at level 6, and you still, if you don't know about it, you're still in so much trouble, because that ultimate can really catch you off guard. And Kerp is doing a really great job of this so far, picking up that 1 kill, picking up the assist, has another 1,000 gold to spend, can turn that into a Brutalizer if he wants to, or even go for that Blade of the Rune King. And also Creaton has 2,000 gold to spend on top of that.
Yeah, they've got all the gold they want, but at the moment Millennium's bot lane doesn't want to leave, because they know that if they get pushed back to their towers, they're going to have to contend with staying pushed up to their towers for at least a while. That's not something they want to deal with, and they know as long as they keep their opponents trapped in the lane, they actually have the stronger all-in engage, and they have also the potential to just wait for an engage from Pantheon.
And Kerp is getting caught here by the ult on a Brewster, who turns around and picks up the kill with the help of that Dark Binding. Going all in for that, blocking the stun, I believe, with the Black Shield was enough. In the meantime, Jree actually picked up the kill on Kimi in the bottom lane. The crowd instantly goes silent when they see that kill come.
Unfortunately, sometimes trades happen across the map. Don't necessarily see exactly what happened there, but it's pretty easy to guess judging from the Giant Panda.
And it looks like they want to go for the dive on the S right here. They have the stun. The stun's going to land. The barrier's going to come out of Essa. He does have flash to get away, and he does have the help to stay alive. On top of that, and Jree and Creaton being forced back. I'm not sure they have the damage to really take him down just yet, as all he has is a Doran's Blade as well, sitting on 2,000 gold, but Creaton 600 more than him at the moment. But right now, you see Krow heading down from the top side. He's going to be spotted by a couple of wards here.
He's going to have flash as well very, very soon. It actually looks like he's not pursuing that, so I'm a little bit surprised they didn't pursue that. He's feeling threatened by Pantheon, but it may well have been possible for him to get the kill on at least one of the two of Millennium's bot lane and then just get out quickly. But instead, going for the safe option, and Vi is just going to go back to farming the jungle. However, the fact that she was revealed on the map does mean the Millennium now are free to make aggressive plays.
Oh no, here comes the gank on the top side. Going to knock Zantins away. So he gets stunned up right away. This is going to be another kill coming in for Millennium. Araneae picks that one up. And just that global threat of that Gragas plus Kerp coming in is so dangerous, but 7 words, they're making a smart response. They're going for Dragon here, and they have 4 people to make it happen.
Yeah, and this time around, unlike last game, they're not going to get interrupted nearly as quickly. Millennium don't have tips available. They do have the culling, so they can do a little bit of poke and at least force 7 Wars bot lane back afterwards, which they can convert into their tower potentially, but at least the Dragon Ball itself should work out.
There you go. So 7 Wars coming out ahead in that exchange, unless we do see that top turret go down, which at the moment doesn't look like it's really going to happen. And we're about 10.5 minutes in, 6-1 in kills in favor of Millennium. Let's go take a look at the items that have been built up. The Zantins is going for something a little bit different than normal.
Yeah, at the moment, he does this, I think, every single game that I've seen. Unlike the usual, he goes for the Bilge Water Cutlass early. That gives him lifesteal. He can build that into a Blade of the Ruined King later on, which gives him extra burst, but he lacks that consistent crit that you get from building an Infinity as Shiv.
Kerp with that Hex Drinker and a little bit of extra magic, just definitely helping out, but you can see the harass is already being done onto him. In the meantime, Zantins getting caught in the top lane, getting very low. The Bilge Water Cutlass does come out, but Kevin's still able to chase him down. The Ignite's not going to be enough. Kevin going to dive on the turret. He's going to get the kill, and that is an unstoppable Kevin. 3-0 now, 83 CS. He has 2,000 gold to spend. This is getting very dangerous that right now 7 Wars doesn't have an answer for. Yeah,
and Kerp now could be in trouble. Or not.
Yeah, they're just going to have Brewster just walk away. In the meantime, the bottom lane, we do see S actually jump into the backside. They actually get to trade 1-for-1 with the help of Krow, but Jree picks that one up. He's now 2-1-1, and Creaton actually able to just completely run away from this through the jungle.
Yeah, he'll be able to get out of that, and actually another barrel.
But Brewster won't. He doesn't have the mana relay. The Black Shield does come out, and Millennium are going to be able to dive this under turret as that does fall apart. Kerp, is he going to get the stun actually land? They're tanking up a couple of turrets. Kerp getting very low. The flash body set coming up. Araneae is enough to pick up the kill. And Kerp, a smart move coming out of him right there. He actually used his back up, so a turret would actually be nullified by it.
But Millennium need to be careful about indeed careful about it. They avoided used the dash to catch up, but as it happens, Millennium getting another very large gold lead, I think we can call it at this point, but they're not so far ahead. It's beyond hope for 7 Wars. Not looking good though.
And it's definitely not looking good indeed. And I mean, you can see that Millennium has that one turret. They did lose that on Dragon, but Dragon's not worth as much as it previously was in earlier patches at these early levels. And Millennium, it's kind of their game, I feel like, to lose. They have the CS lead in every single lane, even in the jungle. The only one that isn't actually leading is the supports.
Once again, though, they have picked a composition that would be weaker if it got to late game, but we've seen it before. They get such a big goal lead from the, their mid-game champion picks and their good road that it just doesn't matter. They just become too strong to deal with.
Kerp has been able to complete his brutalizer as well as pick up a pickaxe here, so his damage is going to hurt. See Brewster being forced into that that zone, use Hourglass with that Seeker's arm guard, and that's not the route he wants to go here, but Kevin is just being careful here. He could get dove on, especially with Kevin right there, and he's still just vowing to sit here safely, and Brewster actually, I was wondering if he actually might walk into that, but he does back away. We do have Krow though in the bottom lane. He's set up for a gank here. He does have his ultimate available. They're looking for the initiate, and right now Millennium isn't letting him have it. Yeah,
Millennium, of course, are going to smell a rat the moment they see Kimi trying to get aggressive. At the moment, there is a small saving grace, but there is no ward in the lane rush. I don't think Seven Wars knows it.
But here comes the Pantheon ultimate. The flash tippers comes out on Kimi. Pantheon's going to join the party. He goes down. Kerp picks up the kill. And instead of countering the gank with the jungler, they counter with the mid laner. And Kerp just absolutely demolishes Kimi yet again, who went for that ancient coin. And it's just not, he's just not tanking enough, and this might be a result of him taking that blue pot. That sight stone, like you were saying before, is going to come so much later, and he needs that help now.
Yeah, and that's arguably what the problem is right now for them. As you say, he is very squishy. Fiddlesticks is a very squishy champion, but Morgana is going to look for the bind.
He does get the, actually, Black Shield up, stopping him for getting stunned here. He does have the ultimate on the two more people. He actually runs away. Both get away from it completely. Araneae picks up a kill on the top lane, or the mid lane, sorry, but we do see Kerp finally fall to Essa. Now Creaton trying to chase him down here as Araneae might head down from the middle lane right now, and they're not done. Creaton just doesn't care. He wants to keep pushing her. Jree has the stun. You see Araneae coming up the side, trying to get the slow, but we do see Physics ultimate. Jree getting caught with the fear. He's looking so low on health. Will he survive? No, Krow takes him down. Creaton getting tanked out by Kimi. Can they pull this one off? This Krow even flashing for him. We do see Kimi fall. Now Krow's going to go down. And 4 kills coming in from Millennium to the 2 deaths that they were able to lose.
Wow, that dodge at the end by Creaton. Very, very good diction indeed. Millennium may be overcommitted there, but because they're getting this advantage, they're now even able to choose probably not necessarily optimal engages and still come out on top. They are going to be the ones doing damage to the tower. Creaton's going to have a free chance to go back, and the bottom lane further behind. Now there's another fight top.
Kevin, he has that red buff. He's going to keep that slow on top of him. He's going to keep attacking him. Look how low Zantins is getting. Right now, Kevin has Ignite, I believe. He could go for it, but instead he's just going to push him out of lane, keep shoving this lane up as well. He just doesn't care about leaving this because he knows he's going to win this 1v1 duel against Zantins.
Yeah, there's no onus at all, but if he can get the stun.
Well, if he gets the stun, he's going to get the kill. And there it is. Kevin now full zone 1, 127 CS. He is just too strong to deal with right now. Even Essa, who went the static shift, doesn't have the attack damage or even the armor penetration to deal with that Sunfire Cape.
Yeah, the double buff at that early stage of the game on Renekton, already a super strong early game champion, has just completely made that lane not work at all. We've seen previously, though, Zantins has done a good job of holding down lanes as Yasuo early on, but just this time it was just too much. I don't think anyone could have survived from that situation.
Honestly not. I mean, just look at this gold difference as well on top of it. 7,000 gold, 16 minutes in. The kill is completely in favor of Millennium. The turret's completely in favor of them as well. They probably can start grouping up and push if they want to, but they're satisfied going about the victory this way. And yeah, Zantins, you can't do anything about Kevin top lane.
Yeah.
Kerp, he has the Mama Mortius now done. He has enough magic resist. He's going to have boots right now. He could actually potentially get 3-man gank tier while the rest of his team goes for Dragon, but there's just no one can battle each other one-on-one in favor of 7 Wars, and the Dragons are down very fast. No ward actually no ward spotting it happen. And Millennium might be able to pull off a nice fight here, but this ward right in this bush might be able to stop it. Kerp does go in onto Brewster here. Brewster using the ultimate only onto him. Looks like they run the command for this kill here. Looks like he might be able to pick up. They do get it with Krow. He's very low on life. You see the Gragas Bro come in, steal away the kill onto Morgana. Now Creaton chasing down Kimi, and Krow going to come out. Is he going to be up? No, he's going to be able to run away from it. Creaton flashed over the wall, picks up the kill. They get 3 in very quick succession. They're going to get a turn off this. In the meantime, Zantins, he's pushing this top lane, but that's not where he wants to be.
It is where he wants to be, actually. He can't, like, if he goes mid right now, there's absolutely nothing he can do. But you're right, going top is not going to be even a vaguely equitable trade for him. Unfortunately, he's in a situation where a vaguely, a completely inequitable trade is the only option he's got that even vaguely gets anything in their favor.
And look at the gold that Millennium has to spend. It's pretty ridiculous. And their items, I mean, just walk us through what you see, because they are getting leaps and bounds beyond Seven Wars that they could probably fight 1v2 and maybe still even come out ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to walk you through what Millennium has. They have everything. If things are beans, they have all of the beans right now. Seven Wars, however, has no beans. No beans at all. Not one.
You're losing me on this beans analogy right now.
There are no beans. Jason, it's a analogy? Metaphor? Whatever. It's a thing. So, basically, at this point, it doesn't really matter what Millennium chooses to build. They can build very, very silly stuff, quote unquote, and still do well.
All right, right now we do see bottom lane, a big fight breaking out. Araneae getting trapped in here. He does get the ultimate off, but he gets shut down by Essa with a nice ulti into the face. And they stop that 5-0-5 rampage that Araneae was on. But now Kevin, he's in hot pursuit. He's going to have slice and dice. But instead, he plays a little bit safe. Not going to go in for it. Actually does go in for it right there, but he does get feared off. He's actually in a 1-on-4 situation now, forced to run away. But he does have Jree there to support him if need be. Not so much Kerp does have the ultimate, but look at this. Kevin is pushing them away by himself. Just his face alone is keeping these 4-minute 7 Wars out of the fight.
Yeah, Kevin knows he's way too tanky to be killed in any reasonable amount of time. They'd have to blow all their skills on him, and he'd still probably be able to run back for support from his team. And the other thing that you have to consider, 7 Wars, they don't know where Kerp is necessarily. He was pushing out mid a second ago, but he could have just been getting ready to jump down. And in fact, he might be doing that now, or at least he's sitting there kind of thinking about it.
Either way, they have 7 Wars out of position, not really to defend this turret. It's already very low on life, and I would imagine that they could go for the dive on this if they want to, because Kerp just able to shut down middle. Kevin just cannot be stopped right now. Towards the top of the map, clearing out that way, but Zantins finally able to join them here. They might have a 5-on-3 fight if they can pull this off. She gets it right onto Creaton. The Dark Bunny coming in. They're going to lock down Creaton. Kerp coming in from the backside. Brewster gets an amazing ultimate off, but it only lands on Creaton as he gets shut down. Kevin is pushing out 2 men himself as Kerp coming from the backside looking for the kill on the Krow. He's so live. He flashes in for it. He actually blocks the Q over the wall. He picks up the kill. They come out with the 2 kills to the 1 death, and we see Kevin even chasing on Essa with that red buff. It's not going to be enough to keep him away from him. If the Dark Bunny coming in, that might be enough, but that red buff is taken away. Kerp goes to the side. Brewster trying to dive to that turret. It looks like he might be able to here. And he actually goes down to Kevin. No, he's not able to escape. And that is 4 kills coming in yet again for the only 1 death of Millennium. They are winning these fights every single time. And 7 Wars just can't do anything about it. Now Araneae going head-to-head against Zantins. He does get the ultimate off, and that is a dead Yasuo.
Wow, he's a fair jungle Gragas right now to be putting out that much damage. And that last fight, you're right. Krow actually, I think he made the right call of trying it, because if things continued at the pace they were going, they were just going to fall further and further behind. But Kerp pulled a great ultimate. It forced everyone into a horrible situation, and I think it was planned. They knew they could flash and pull Krow out of position, and then bite Essa to actually try and jump in to avoid Kerp, which put him in right into renection range, and as a result, just win the fight easily.
If that was a plan on Millennium, I guarantee they didn't tell Creaton, because he would have been okay with it, being the only one to die on his team, being chased down with the double ultimates right there. But either way, Millennium, 25-7, 11,000 gold lead here, 21 minutes in. I mean, the chance of coming back from that are just so slim. Some words, they have the possibility to do it, but you're just seeing Millennium not make any mistakes here. And with this 2-man squad, look at the damage that Araneae is even able to do as a jungler. He has the death cap done. He has sword boots. He has 6 kills and so much farm over his opponent Krow. It's just, he's basically a mid laner right now. They basically have 5 fed champions.
Yeah. If the only critique you could arguably make about Millennium is that they could be winning even harder, but it just doesn't matter. And
Jree going for the stun. The Pantheon drop right onto the 2 men. We're going to see the Cryospell knock them away, but they pick up 2 kills very, very fast. In the meantime, the top lane, Kevin even diving in towards Zantins. Doesn't get the kill, but does force them out, and that's going to be a middle turret down. That's going to be an inhibitor down for Millennium here, and they are just looking in full control of this game.
Yeah, this is just demolition at this point. They're taking down buildings, really. Players, less of a concern.
Kerp, he just doesn't really care about time right now. Zantins is going to be able to join the party here, but he can't go in 1v5. Even Jree flashed in, unfortunately missed the stun as Krow is able to just walk away from it. And the first inhibitor is going to go down. The top turret has minions there that they could go for if they want to. Let's take a look at the total gold that Millennium has spent. 2,000 on Araneae, 1,200 on Creaton, and it's only going to get higher as they take down this top turret.
Krow is making the right move, though. He is laughing at them. That is pretty much the best solution I can come up with myself in this situation. 7 Wars, I cannot, there is no way for them to win a fight at this point. I mean, I'd like to hype it up, but there just isn't anything they can do.
Oh, shy of Millennium making a major mistake here. And
yeah, that's possible, I guess.
That it is possible, but it's definitely not likely. And you see Bruce, he's trying to set up in position to go in towards the backside. And we see, you know, Essa, Infinity Edge, static ship, but he doesn't have the damage to deal with Kevin, who just is sitting on 206 armor.
Yeah, this is actually one of the things I think arguably Zantins is underestimating about the ship stuff.
Oh, there goes Krow to the backside. They're going for the major fight. Kimi using the ultra Araneae. He's going to get locked down completely. Brewster picks up back tail, but look at the damage that they're able to reply backwards. Creaton, Jree, and Kevin are all still alive here, and it's a 3-on-3, but look how low 7 wards are. Type Araneae, unfortunately, not going to land. Essa, Kimi, and Bruce are going to be forced to back away here. The Supermans are pushing down that middle lane, and there's an inhibitor turret for the taking here.
And that's an example of a fight where Seven has got a really good initiation, and if this was on, you know, equal terms, they would dominate completely.
And Jree getting the stun on S on the backside. They're going to get the stun off as well from Kevin, but he does get feed away, forced to pop the ultimate, forced to back away. In the meantime, Creaton is more than happy to attack this turret, get it down to about half life here, and then just run away. So right now, they're going to have to run with their tails between their legs because they realize they're all back up here, and we don't have much life anymore.
Yeah, not a lot of life, but they can afford to back off. They are a long, long way ahead already, as we've mentioned. Now, the question, I think, next is whether they're going to go for the Baron, because they can do that. They have got complete vision control, or whether they're just going to rely on sieging in. I actually would favor the siege or possibly baiting the Baron, but it's you know, it's 50-50 either way. They've got a lot of potential to either win from a Baron or from sieging.
The funny thing is that I think Millennium's been the only team that's really even taken Baron. The only team that's really even bothered with it. I mean, you've seen, I think it was All-Star World take one just in the game prior, but it's just a little bit different. They just kind of want to make sure they have a clear-cut victory here, and Kerp just forced them out by himself. They're taking away everything they possibly can. The jungle is just getting completely wiped clean. The dragon has been picked up. There's not a lot of money to spend on the entirety of Millennium, but look at the items that they've been able to complete. Even Araneae has a Void Staff done. Kerp has the last Whisper done. You see the randoms picked up for Kevin, and right now Creaton hasn't really been able to build much, but he's looking for that last Whisper.
You know, historically, actually, it's an interesting fact about the EU. We actually value Barons above other regions, even, you know, Korea or NA or anything. Even in like Season 3, there was proportionally higher numbers of Baron takes and Baron calls than there were in other regions, where they tended to favor towers just a little bit more.
Kevin getting cleared under the turret, but he just really doesn't care. They take down the inhibitor. Kevin still diving towards the backside. Brewster being forced back out of this fight, so they can't get the Morgana ultimate. But with the help of the knockup, they're going to be going for the wall bug combo out of Fiddlesticks and Morgana, but it doesn't matter. They're finally one by one. Kevin's the man to drop here, but we're going to see Brewster fall in just a second. Kerp still alive, but the skin of his teeth are, as you see the flash on Essa, but the knockback isn't enough. He's going to be able to escape here, and it is a 2-for-4 trade. The inhibitor's still up, but they lost the turret.
Yeah, they lost the turret, they've lost the objective fight, but they did hold on. That was a good sign there, and Essa is the one picking up the kills. He's starting to get a couple of items, still lacking, crucially though, the last Whisper. And I think until he gets that, and it's going to take a long, long time, and I would expect Millennium to be able to close it out before that. It's going to take a long time, and if he doesn't get it relatively soon, they're going to really start suffering again in these fights because he's just not going to do enough damage.
The funny thing is that 7 Warriors have been getting the engage they want every single time, but they're just not able to survive long enough or pick up the kills they need to really close out the fight and to be able to pull out ahead in it. And you see Zantins, he actually finished his static shift, stopped doing his Blade of the Rune King, and went straight for that item. Well, but it's just not giving the damage he needs. He's 0, 8, and 3 right now.
Yeah, I mean, getting that Blade. Oh, hello. So we got the full Blade the Rune King on the start of that. Like, if you get a Blade the Rune King on Yasuo, it actually synergizes with your ultimate because the armor penetration applies to the active, which is a nice little edge. But is Zantins going to be able to do enough without the crit? At the moment, you've got to say no. There's actually a lot of magic resist though on Millennium, and not that much armor. I've just got to say, it feels like at the moment Yasuo isn't having much influence in the fights.
And his score reflects that, to be honest. I mean, yeah, he's been farming up decent decently well. He's ahead of Kevin, but Kevin's been grouping up with his team, forced these 5 fights to happen, and you have 2 inhibitors to be taken here by Millennium. They're not going to go for Baron right now, as Kevin still pushed it pretty far here. He's taking a little bit of damage, knocked down about 1/3 of his life, and that's going to be a little bit unfortunate if they do want to go for the dive here. But you see Millennium respecting that wombo combo that Seven Wars can make happen. That Philosophic ultimate mixing with Vi, mixing with Yasuo and Morgana. It's so hard to kind of deal with since you can't do anything during the midst of it. But they're able to get the inhibitor, they're able to push Seven Wars back. They might even look for their second one.
It's still very, very slow play from Millennium, considering the goal disparity.
Now Krow, he's going straight in. We see the whole wombo combo come in with Yasuo and Vi. Morgana coming in with a nice ultimate, but it doesn't really chain onto anyone after that. Kimi staying alive, goes to backside, just using his ultimate, and then you do see 3-4 kills coming in for Seven Wars. Jree, the last 5 seconds, able to pick up 1 kill, even flashing into the base, trying to get them to chase it down, and we're going to have an ace come out of Seven Wars here on the Millennium at 28 minutes in.
I'm going to have to channel my D-man. I cannot believe that. That was an incredibly good engage, and it caught Millennium 100% off guard. They were not ready for it. They did not play it correctly. You can actually see several ultimates still available for them, and suddenly Seven Wars, in spite of still the biggest goal difference I've ever seen win a team fight, they're going to be able to take several objectives. Baron is available for them. I don't know if Kimi and Essa could take it with just the 2 of them, but they suddenly managed to pull out a victory. Another team fight like that, and Millennium will be quaking.
And the thing is, they did a fantastic job in that fight, but I will say one thing about that is that they fought on their own side of the base. They still lost their middle inhibitor, but they're not able to really make much happen after that fight. They got 1 turret, that was just about it. They got a little bit of gold income, which helps out quite a bit, but can they get another fight like that? That's what they have to do, and yeah. I'm not sure if Millennium's going to let that happen. I think Millennium are going to be like, all right, guys, well, we're still up a lot of everything. Why don't we just take Baron or bait them into Baron and just finish this game out, because they have that open inhibitor. They have the one down middle, and they have the super minions.
At this point, it is still essentially a miraculous thing if Seven Wars are able to come back into this game. But that fight showed they have a non-zero chance. And that's something which, to me, is a surprise, because I thought they were just completely gone. As it happens, it looks like Millennium are now going to play the Baron dance. That's a slightly dodgy move, though, when Seven Wars are all up. And we saw last time the engage that worked for them was a fight over the wall.
And that was amazing out of Zantins right there, because it blocked the Gragas ultimate. Now they're going to start moving for a push down middle here, and even though they don't really have any wards on Baron, they have 1 towards the back side of it. They don't really care. They want to punch straight into Millennium, because if they win a team fight now, they can't finish the game. It's 30 minutes in, everyone's high enough level that the respawn timers are approaching 60 seconds, but they just need that engage that they want to make happen. You see Kimi, he's in a really interesting position. He does have a pink ward down that in that bush, so he will see someone coming, but if he could get that ultimate off from across the wall, it would be major.
I actually feel, though, that right now, Seven Wars should back off. Let the Dragon go, or at least try and get Essa to go back. He needs that last Whisper. He's got it available. If he goes back, he's got the gold, he's got the items. If he can get that, Kevin suddenly becomes a much, much smaller threat proportionally, because obviously he's built a lot of armor. He's built Rampant, Sunfire Cape, and Ninja Tabby. That means he can chase down someone like Essa if a fight isn't completely chaotic like the last one. But with that last Whisper, which he has actually been able to pick up, 4-item AD Tristana, Seven Wars have the damage to win fights potentially now. They're still a long way behind.
And we see Creaton pick up a little bit of matches with that Spectral's Cow. We see Baron being start off here from Millennium. We see Seven Wars trying to close in on all different directions. And Millennium, they're just going to bait this one out. Trying to clear out these wards, force Seven Wars to really run out of any kind of vision control that they can possibly get. If you look at the items that Seven Wars has, it's just, I mean, sorry, the trinkets, it's just the warding trinkets. They don't have any sweeper still. They don't have the ability to clear a map unless they use these pink wards. And you're looking at Millennium's not letting them have it just yet.
Yeah, and at the moment, Seven Wars are actually a bit split. If the Millennium team can get a good engage here, they can finish the game. We absolutely know that. But Seven Wars, are they going to look for the actual engage here? They're probably going to lose the inhib regardless.
Let's see, as Millennium starts attacking down about half life right now. Essa able to clear out those waves very, very fast with the items being able to pick up. And you see Millennium, they're trying to get some vision. They're trying to prevent Seven Wars from getting that Fiddlesticks ultimate mixed in with Vi. And Vi's actually backing. I think Vi's going to use Home Guard Boots, I want to say. Yeah, picks up Home Guard Boots, looking for that engage. If Millennium wasn't to stick far enough up, but they do back away. They're going to push this bomb inhibitor. And Seven Wars, they're going to have to fight for it.
They can fight for it now, but it's going to be difficult. They know that if Essa dies, they die, essentially, as a team. At any point, he gets caught. If he gets any flash, he goes down instantly. That means he has to play so cautiously, and it means that the team in general can't afford to go too deep.
And Panther's going to drop right on top of the team, but they all spread out. They're not going to get the stun. They do get on the Krow on the backside, but they're forced him to play defensively. Kerp getting bursted down very, very fast. He's in the air. He's able to flash away and survive, but here comes Krow with the ultimate. He's going to go down. Yes, one comment as well. Jree getting a nice knock, does save a couple of the teams. Brewster going in with the zone. He was able to zone out the rest of Millennium, and now Kevin, he's getting dropped very low. As Essa not being attacked at all in the middle of this fight. It's a 2-for-2 trade. Brewster gets taken out by Creaton, but Creaton now very low life. Does get spirit up here. Kimi trying to drain as much as possible. Essa, he's in the middle of Millennium. He's trying to chase them down, and then 5 will pull this fight off. Essa, no! He's doing the very gets shot down by and now Kimi's last minute setting this 1-on-2. He's going to go down here momentarily, and this has to mean that Millennium can close this game out.
Oh, he's going to kick himself for the rest of his life. He walked into the barrel, and that was what caused him the fight. However, up in 5 seconds, Araneae and Kevin are low on health. They're not going to be able to finish the game, but they might be able to take the 3rd inhibited tower. But Seven Wars, they're so close to clinging on to this game.
It is getting very, very close to the point where Seven Wars will be able to win these fights flat out. I mean, that was still not the desired engage to come out of them, and they were still able to turn it around, still able to hold on tight. And right now, I mean, the goal difference that they did have, the deficit that they were on, doesn't matter that much when you're this late in the game.
Yeah, the item difference is now decreasing a lot. And that last fight by Millennium was honestly a bit botched. They used so many summoner spells in that fight that now the only flash threat towards Tristana is from Jree. Now, they are going to try and rush down the Baron, and that would give them a very big edge if they can get it, or a catch.
And Kerp, he's going to, oh my god, Kimi's going to go down instantly because of the lack of vision. Krow even almost being taken down right there. That's going to be Baron going over to Millennium, because no one on Seven Wars is able to really defend against this. If anything, they need to start shoving these waves down, or take any kind of jungle camps they possibly can, because they're going to have a huge fight in their hands here soon.
I honestly think slight misplay from Seven Wars, not getting caught, that was a big misplay. But what they should have done when they realized that had happened was shove out the top wave. Millennium right now actually have a good tool in order to fight this this battle at the inhibitor tower, which can give them an edge. They can go for they can go for tower sieging.
Well, luckily for them, they didn't lose Krow, because that's going to be the man to facilitate the engage out of Yasuo. They ultimate out of him. They have still Morgana up. They still have a decent amount of their Wombo combo alive. And Kimi's going to be up right now. He has Home Guard Boots. We might potentially see that engage come out. Zantins able to pick up another BF sword right there. And Krow able to get that Black Cleaver. We're going to see Kevin get caught right there, take quite a bit of damage. Actually, he's going to be very low. He's going to be very careful. Krow going in over the side, looking for the kills. He's the ultimate to the back line, but he gets bursted down. Arneae popping the sword. Jree gets taken out. Essa in the back. He's getting chased down by Kerp. He's going to survive, though. And we see the shutdown come in. Zantins able to chase away Kevin. He's going to get the kill also. He's going to go down, and that means Kerp, he's in trouble. Essa's going to pick up that kill, and that is going to be almost a full-on ace. This creates the last minute setting, but can he escape resistance? He's going to get the kill also, but Essa, he's most certainly going to pick up the kill. That is an ace.
Is it real life? That is a massive fight for them, but they are losing the Nexus towers. Brewster may not actually be able to hold this alone.
They're going to have to send someone back in that man. It's going to be Essa, who's now 12-4-6. His item's basically full built right now. A fantastic job by the entire Seven Wars to pull that fight out. And Krow going in deep, sacrificing himself. But because of that, they were able to pick up all those kills. Kevin, the trip that he took of being binded over the wall plus feared from Essa was just too much. He went down.
And he's not tanky enough to resist the magic damage. That's the thing. He knew Tristana was the only one with a decent amount of gold on 7. They were able to poke him down through his very limited magic resist. He is actually now picking something up. A Banshee's Veil might be a highly valuable item for him, but that was Baron buffed Millennium. They've lost that advantage now. However, with the Nexus turrets down, Kerp can always threaten the backdoor. That does now mean that Seven Wars basically need to always have a man in the base, and that means they're very restricted on what they can do, at least until they've got 3 in here.
More importantly, the man that has to stay back at the base has to be able to 1v1 Kerp. And I'm not sure if Brewster can do that right now.
It would be hard for Brewster. Zantins, though, is starting to pick up several major items. Look, he's got the Infinity Edge, he's got the Shiv, and he's got the Blade of the Ruined King. That means he has huge damage. The thing is where the Kerp can burst him down in return. But Kerp's built tanky. He's built to try and dive Essa, and I don't think it will work.
Oh, here comes the engage. They're going to get onto Araneae. He gets speared up. He does have the zones available. And there it is. They're going to jump for this fight. Kerp jumping into the back line. Zantins gets bursted down instantly. Krow's going to go down. Araneae is still like Kerp. Jumping top of Essa does force him out of the fight. And Essa is trying to do everything he possibly can to stay alive, to pick up these kills, but he's being stunned up here. That is not going to... DFG even coming in. The stun from Kerp coming in as well. He is not going to escape, and that is going to be an ace coming on Millennium. That is going to be a 2-0 sweep coming out of them as well. They're going to advance on to the finals to play against the winners of Ocelot World and Pain Gaming.
But it showed some real guts from Seven Wars. They came very, very close, and it highlights the weaknesses of Millennium closing out games.
Wow, I mean, the crowd was going insane for Seven Wars right there when they were starting to come back. Even a standing ovation for both these teams right here. Both of them played extremely well, pushing Millennium to the brink of a loss right there. That would have been fantastic, because that would have been the first time that Millennium would have lost a map here. Would have been the first time the Brazilian team would have taken a map against an EU LCS team. And both teams played exceptionally well. Essa, he had a very, very slow start, but he came out to finish 13, 5, and 6 in that one.
That's the power of a Tristana pick. She is brilliant late game. She is, I'm gonna say it, the strongest AD carry late game. That range, that reposition, that knockback. Those 3 things together, and it's actually obviously for massive damage, but she is so incredibly strong in that late game situation. And it was the fact that the only gold Seven Wars was really able to get in the early game was all focused on her, was the thing that was vaguely keeping her relevant. But in the end, that last fight was over-eager.
It seemed a little bit forced, but I think at the same time they had to realize that we can't really fight on our Nexus either, because Creaton, if he just ignores the fight, goes around the corner, can take it down quickly. So could Kerp, who could backdoor it. They had to make something happen, but just unfortunately, the positioning wasn't really set up for them to make that fight happen, because Essa, he wasn't out of position, but he was so far away that he couldn't get the damage in that he needed to, and the whole front line of Seven Wars just went down instantly when they dove into the back. Yeah,
he was not spending all of his time DPSing. The Fiddlesticks ult wasn't really doing very much either. As a result, they were able to get on him right at the end. And if you aren't doing all the damage, essentially, with this composition, you've got to rely on Yasuo, and he was bursted out pretty quickly.
Blown up. Yeah, right away. And unfortunately, he went in onto Araneae, who just popped the Zonias right after and pretty much mitigated most of that damage. And the thing is, we have to keep in mind, Seven Wars, they've been around together for 2 months.
Yeah.
2 months, and they took Millennium to almost a victory there after being so far behind, about 10 to 15,000 gold. A little bit unfortunate, but hopefully they stay together as a team. Maybe they can rise to be one of the top